Okay, little Farm Sim 22 here, and I thought what I would do here is do a grass contract. It's actually a grass silage contract. You show up here at the top, Baling, and the contract is for a little over $5,000. And what old Sammy Ortega here wants us to do is mow the grass in field 17, bale it, and then wrap it into silage and go take it to the animal dealer. And I do silage in my own fields, but I'm going to lease the equipment for this for a couple reasons. The first is it just saves wear and tear on your own equipment. And unlike leasing equipment for your own use, borrowing the equipment for contracts is pretty negligible in cost. I think what I would lose on tractor repair and other equipment repair, it's well worth just using Sammy's equipment. Now I could have just hopped right to the shop, but I thought this was an opportunity to take the old Continental for a little spin down the main drag here of Elm Creek. A very unfarm-like vehicle, but I could not resist. This is a mod. It came out just a couple days ago on the mod hub. Anyway, completely unnecessary, gratuitous driving of the Connie. But it's fun to drive the mobster mobile around town. And then the other thing I thought it'd be just kind of showing the steps of just silage production in general and the kind of stuff that is involved, and the equipment is quite a bit of equipment. There's several steps in doing this, but all of these various pieces of equipment, the mowers, the windrower, and we'll see all these in action, the baler, the wrapper, which is separate here. There are some balers that have a configuration on the rear that will actually make the bale and wrap it at the same time. When you do one of these contracts, that's not what they give you. They give you a separate baler, and of course the balers which do the wrapping are significantly more expensive than this one. And then lastly, these little forks used to pick up and transport the bales. Field 17 is not very large. I think we might get 3 bales out of it, so these will be okay for that. I'll at least show them. But man, they are a pain in the butt to use, which is why I'm going to use them, so you can see what a pain in the butt they are to use. And I might show a different option for dealing with them, using some of my own equipment. In any case, I gave us a little Valtra tractor. And that's the other thing with all this grass equipment. None of it's very heavy. They all kind of proceed at decent speeds, and you do not need a very large tractor at all. So silage contracts and just silage in general, even on you know, the player's own field, is a pretty good moneymaker in the early stages of the game. I don't have a wheel or anything. I'm just WASD key driving, so it's going to be a little jerky in the turns. That's not a glitch or anything there on the mower. You know, it's got fabric or vinyl or something. It's got soft covers on the sides, and that's they're waving in the wind there. That's what that is. First time I saw that, I thought there was something funky going on with the windshield in the game or something. Before I realized, no, it's supposed to do that. Just take a little shortcut through there. It's Elm Creek. You can do things like that. You can see from the tire tracks that I've been through there recently. When you knock over a stop sign in this game, or street sign, it stays there forever. I knocked that thing over months and months and months ago in game time. It's still there. I've even stopped, gotten out, picked it up, and thrown it over into those bushes. It keeps coming back. Maybe it put up a new sign and I ran over it again. That's the new one. I don't know. This is field 17 right here. For these small fields up here, all these fields right up in this corner on this map, these are all in grass right through here. So a lot of the baling contracts you get are right in this area on the map. Not far from the vehicle dealer, which at least on this map is another good reason to use leased equipment, because the dealer is actually closer to this area than where the default farm is, or the other farm sites that you could buy in farm manager mode. So there's less driving to do just to get there. Various motors, you can go pretty fast. Here we're going 12 miles per hour with this setup, so a lot faster than what goes on with the larger tools for other crops like cultivators and so forth. And it's such a small field, it won't take very long at all to do any of the steps, really. With this particular setup, with the front-mounted mower and this one that sticks out to the right, when you make a right turn like this, it tends to skip. Like, we'll probably leave a little holiday right there like that, yeah. Unless you go out way far and turn really wide. Even turning the other direction. Sometimes there's just, unless you're going perfectly straight, grass tends to leave little unmowed strips between the tractor and the big mower behind. Which is not hard to go back and clean up at the end, but I do use a different setup, a different mower on my own fields. And like any contract in the game, the tools will not work on anything outside of the designated field. That's why we keep getting this reserve for contract work every time I make this turn and go outside the bounds of the field itself. And that's, I think, just to keep you from using cheap contract leased equipment to go and work your own fields. I'm sure is why they do that, and it makes sense. Let's go around here and clean up these few little holidays. That's not a farming term. As far as I know, I don't know. I'm not a farmer. For real. That's a Navy term, though. Holidays. Okay, we are done with the mow. Go over here and just get this stuff out of the way. Now we could drive back to the shop. The other thing we can do, and I played for hours and hours and hours before I caught on to this, you can reset a vehicle to pop it back to the shop. And then you can just teleport to places on the map with this visit button. Okay. That saves us a trip back to pick up the windrower. That's also a pretty handy thing in case, you know, you get stuck. Is that sometimes the AI workers will get themselves hung up and you can't get a vehicle free from a ditch or whatever. So for those who don't know, what this is essentially a basically it's a big rake that will collect up and concentrate all of this grass into a narrow row so that the baler can come along and scoop it all up. Oops. Just a little bit there. Well, I'm making a mess of this job already. Anyway, so the baler can come along later and scoop it all up. Don't have to do this step. Could just run the baler all over the field, but of course the baler has a very narrow width. I'm going to go straighten that row again. That looks like hell. And later I'm going to have to steer along it with the baler to. Let me try to get this part right. I mean, you could go back and forth over all that loose grass with the baler, but whatever trips we would save now by not windrowing, we would do at least as many, if not more, trips trying to go back and forth over every inch of the field with the baler. Let's see if I can avoid doing that again. And the various, of course, like any other tool in the game, there's various sizes and types of windrowers. They all tend to be pretty big and not heavy, but big in terms of covering a lot of area, as they should be, because they're gathering up an area to concentrate it. That can make them a little unwieldy to maneuver those sometimes on the ends of the field. Well, this guy's going to be in the... Alright, come on. Get past. There you go. That wasn't terribly efficient. I think I could have picked up more grass there with a better line. Maybe though I can get all this in one go here. Finish it up. Right, we are done with the windrower. So normally I would just reset all the, I'd reset the vehicle and bring each piece up and cut my driving in half by doing that. But for purposes of the video, I think I'm just going to put a little cut right in here and bring all the rest of the gear up. Okay, I've brought the other equipment up, the baler, the bale wrapper, and the two tractor mounted, I'm not sure if they're called bale forks or bale handlers. Anyway, all the stuff is up here, and so we'll get baling. This particular baler makes round bales in 3 different sizes. The smallest is 120 centimeters, there's a 150, and a 180. I currently have it set to 150 because even though it can make a bigger bale, that bale wrapper over there can only make up to 150. So that's what I've set the baler for as well. And the reason I'm not doing 120, I said 120 earlier. I think it's actually 125. Let's take a look. 150, 180, or 125, yeah. But the reason I'm not doing 125 is because I didn't mean to hit that. My hope, and what will probably occur, is we'll actually get to keep one of these bales. Sometime, you know, for a bigger field, something more than one, but on this size field, probably just the one bale. Might be able to keep one for myself, which is additional revenue in addition to the $5,000 fee we're getting for the job. And all my own bales back on my farm, they're all 150, so I want the same size so that it'll all load into the wagons easier that way. All right. The downside of going with bigger than 125 is that this baler does not make partial bales. So once it has spit out a bale, if there's not enough grass to make another full bale, that grass is essentially wasted. And the bigger bale size I use, the more risk, the more likelihood that there will be more wastage at the end because of that. So I may turn out to regret doing 150, we'll see. And oh yeah, I forgot to turn on the automatic. There we go. When it fills up and is processing and then spitting out that bale, the baler will not pick up grass. So you got to stop for that. And you may have to back up a little bit. But that little hook there on the end, it's like a little, almost like a little bumper. That's what that is to, if you need to back up a little bit after you've spit a bale out so that you don't miss some grass, you can push that round bale back a little bit. There, okay. You got to wait for that cover to close though, and so that bumper's in place. Otherwise, the baler will just try to ride up over the bale. Yeah, I don't think we're going to get a fourth bale out of this field. If I had thought of it just now, and it's too late now, what I should have done right there was for the last bit here to pop it down to 125 and see if maybe we could squeeze out a complete bale that way. No, I thought I had all that. Well, we're at 73%. Maybe there's enough little bit left around the edges. No. The problem is, even if when that grass was originally cut, by the time it's spit out and then later with windrowing and so forth, that grass may have originally been in the field or at least close enough to the margin to be considered part of the same property. But at this point it's far enough out that it's counted as outside, and the baler won't pick it up. Maybe if I come at it from a different angle. No. Okay. Yeah, I don't think I'm getting 26% more. That's like over 1,000 liters of grass. There's not a... Even if I could pick all this up, I don't think there's 1,000 liters of grass here. But there would have been enough for a 125 bale. That's a 3,500 liter bale. I wish I had thought to do that. Got that. It's not going to be enough. Okay. Well, we got 3 bales. That's about all there is to it. And there's 4,200 liters of grass sitting in the baler that can't do anything with. So this thing just kind of, you just drive alongside, it picks it up and starts wrapping. I think it's probably a good time to, what exactly is silage? What's happening here? So silage is basically a form of animal feed. You take freshly cut grass. It can be made with other stuff too. I think there's I think it can be done with corn with some different gear. I've never done that. But basically you take grass and not hay. Hay is already too dry. Hay is dried grass. But you take the moist, freshly cut grass and you tightly compress and wrap it. This is a foil. And so the grass ferments in there. It takes a couple months to fully ferment. And the product is animal feed. That sounds pretty gross to me, but apparently cows love that stuff. And after the fermentation, the silage sells for a decent amount of money. Not a whole lot. Well, I can just show it. Silage. Somewhere along in here. Nope, went too far. It's up here. There we go. So right now, if we took it to the ammo dealer, which is what we're going to do because that's what the field owner told us to, it's $465 for 1,000 liters. 150 centimeter bale is 5,500 liters, so that works out to what? Like $3,500 a bale, I think. Ish, somewhere in that neighborhood. So just kind of ballpark figures, you know, that's basically $10,000 sitting right there in those 3 bales. At today's price, August is, I should have shown the other. We're actually in the bottom of the market for silage. Up here in January, I think it's going to be more like $650 per 1,000 liters. Yeah, that's more the 3,000. So right now these bales are a little over 2,000 a piece. So we got about $6,000, maybe 6,500-ish or so, sitting right here in this field. In January, this would be significantly more than that, the 10,000. Which is not bad considering, you know, how small a field this came out of. Grass is high yield, which means the silage is high yield, and so it's not the unit price. It's a bulk, you know, not very expensive, but you get a ton of it type of a product. And then we get to deal with these things. Bale loaders, that's what they're called. And they're pretty simple. You just unfold it lower and then you just drive right up under the bale. But you have to line up exactly on the side. You can't load it from any angle. It's even hard to get it even at a fairly... and right there, that is why they are such a pain in the butt. Something in the game, you can line up, but then when you get real close to the bale, a lot of times, this one already moved. See, it you know, even as close as I was, only 10 degrees off, it doesn't really want to load up. You got to get it just right. Nope. Okay. Okay, there's one. Now if you're just dealing with 2, 3, 4 bales, okay, you can kind of deal with that. When you got a field of like 16 or 20 bales, dealing with these little bale loaders on the tractor, that gets real old real fast. And now I got to unfold it, which unclamps the right bale that I already got, and if I mess up, I might not only get this bale, but I could lose the other one rolling off. See, I don't know how to line it up any better than that, and I'm still... yeah. I hate these things. And oh, by the way, this is on a relatively flat field, too. The more slope, of course, they're round bales, round things roll, who'd have thunk it? and chase these darn things all over the field. Because not only will it not pick up, but I might nudge it, and boom, it's off to the races. It starts rolling on down the field. See, right there it moved as I got close. Come on, pick up, pick up, pick up. Right, okay, well, I think I've shown about all I care to of these things. And now that that's been demonstrated, I am going to use a little bit of my own gear. This wagon will hold 24 bales of any of those sizes I mentioned before. And it'll pick them up from just any angle. If you're going to get into doing your own silage on your own fields, this is the way to go. This is the way to go. Worth the money. There, that's better. Okay, now we are going off to the animal farm. Or animal dealer, rather. I think I'll just put a quick cut in here for that trip. Right, I've arrived at the animal dealer, and I could just back the trailer up and put all 3 bales in there, and whatever excess above what's needed for the contract fulfillment, you know, would just sell it and give me the revenue for it. I don't want to do that because it's August. Oh, I just messed up. Unloading. I did not want those flat like that. I may just wind up pushing bales forward. This little bale loader that comes on a front loader, it's not as finicky as those others. I don't know if it'll pick up a flat. I'm pretty sure it won't. Yeah, I'm just going to push them in. But I want to put them in one at a time because I don't want to put any more bales in here than I absolutely have to fulfill the contract. Okay? Oh, wow. One bale was 83%. Now I really wish I had made that 125 bale. Yeah, lessons learned. There's a lesson, you know. So here's a little bit of kind of showing this. There's also a little bit there of a little pitfall you may want to avoid if you do this. So I'm only going to have to put one more bale in this, and I'm going to, in the majority of that bale, I'm going to get, you know, August revenue for. I wonder if it'll pick it up. Nope. Okay. Well, just pushing it's fine. Right, so the contract is done. So that's my bale that I can save until later. And sell it in January. Well, I am not being a very conscientious citizen of Elm Creek with those shenanigans. Nope. I'm continuing. Pull right out in front of that car. He stopped in time, though. That's Larry. He works down at the hardware store, and he is well aware that if I am visible within his, he's got to watch out. I'm sure he was ready on those brakes way back here when he came over the overpass. Saw me down there, hung up with those other cars. Kind of extraneous footage, I guess. All I'm doing is just taking this one bale back to my farm. Probably not needed. Those are the two front fields there. I've been running barley in those for the past, or oats before. I've been running grain in those fields since the start of the save. But I converted those over to grass. So they're going to be doing grass and therefore silage next year. And I'm just coming over here to put this bale with all the others. So these three fields right in front, those are my three most recently acquired fields over the past winter, and they're not completely up to speed yet in that when everything is kind of on its schedule, I do have the seasonal crop calendar enabled. In grass, you can harvest it any time of year. You can only plant it 9 months out of the year, which is more than any other crop, really. And it takes about 3 months to grow from freshly mown to a harvestable state. And so basically that means you can do 3 cuttings of grass in 1 year, 1 calendar year. And you can either cut March, June, September. You can cut April, July, October. Or you can cut May, August, November. Any one of those will work. Because what happens is once you do that last fall cutting, the grass will grow and it'll be ready to cut again. But it needs 3 months of growth, and these 3 months right here during the winter, it's dormant. It doesn't go away, it doesn't die, it doesn't go brown or anything, but it just sits there. It doesn't progress. It doesn't gain growth stages. So it'll skip. So what I've been doing is, or what I intend to do once I get all these fields running, is I intend to do my last cutting in October, and then I get 1 growth stage here. Let me think about this a second. Yeah, okay. Actually, I think what actually occurs is No, yeah, that works. Cut in October, one growth stage in November, dormant, 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 one growth stage in March, and then the third growth stage occurs in April, and then it's ready to cut here. Skip, skip. Ready to cut in July. Skip, skip. Or grow, grow, rather. Ready to cut in October. So I haven't gone through a full 3 cuttings in 1 year cycle with these fields yet. I planted them. I think I did 1 last fall, and then I did a few in March. Two more in March. Anyway, they grew through, and I just did my first cutting in July last month. So that, over here to the left, that is 1 harvest of those 3 fields. So if I'm going to, so eventually I'm going to be doing that 3 times a year. So 3 times this amount is what I will have in a given January when it comes time to sell all the silage. So I'm going to have like 6 or 7 or 8 trailer loads of these bales going over there to the animal dealer. And I think I figured out it's going to be probably about 750,000. So that's pretty good. And the, of course, these fields were obviously much larger than the field 17 I just did that produced all these bales over here. But the equipment that I used was pretty much the same stuff, and it went fairly quick because you can move pretty fast using a small tractor. This is a small tractor here, not a medium, the class Avian 660. It is the biggest of the small tractors, and it's got as much horsepower as most of the mediums do. It's a good tractor. It's a good early game tractor in my opinion. And so although there's several different pieces of equipment and several steps, they go pretty fast, and the equipment isn't real heavy, and isn't terribly expensive. So it's a pretty good early game setup to be doing this whenever you first start out. Anyway, enough of that. There you go. Oh, I never did actually cash in the contract. So we got, well, and this shows what I was talking about at the beginning. $54 is what it costs to borrow all that equipment. That's it. That is 1%. 1% leasing cost on borrowing equipment. No wear and tear. I guarantee even just the trip that I made with my own trailer, just that alone probably cost me more than $54 in wear and tear on my little tractor. So when doing contracts, even if you've got all the gear yourself, I think borrowing the equipment is the way to go from that perspective. And so 5,500 round number, 5,500 from that, and we've got a bale out of that that is going to probably net us something like 3,000, maybe 3,500 a little bit later in January. So we're looking at 8.5 or 9,000 for that piece of work. And now I don't have to go back up there and fetch all that equipment and wash it and park it and all that kind of stuff. It's just poofed out of thin air. Anyway, I guess that's about all I have to show there, and thank you very much. Thank you very much for watching.